Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going over Clashfronts and what changes have happened compared to the previous season when we had it. And if you guys haven't even played Clashfronts at all, don't worry about it. We're going to go through all of the rules. The first thing you're going to notice is the map is different, and personally I think the map looks a lot better. The other thing that actually strategically has changed is that in your first round, as you can see here, like yellow and blue, they can attack each other for this tile on the first round. However, they're not going to be able to attack the red or purple, which means that, like, for example, you can't be tag teamed at the beginning of the game, which was kind of an issue with the previous way the Clashfronts battle grid was. So I do prefer this. Now, for each of these different areas, you're going to get a different number of occupation points. You can see that under here. Like, for example, there will be 80 occupation points if you occupy this, 100 for this one, and on the middle one it is going to be 250 and 200. So of course the more powerful guilds are going to be fighting for the center. Okay guys, so that was a brief overview. Now we're going to look at the in-depth description of all of the rules. So the basics of Clashfronts are going to be how they were before. You're going to have 4 games over the course of a 1-month period basically. Each game is going to last 1 week and it will be divided into 5 rounds. Each Clashfronts game involves 4 guilds of the same tier which are matched together at the start of the game. The initial rankings are going to be based on your guild supremacy rankings. So for example, the top 16 guilds of guild supremacy are all going to be in the same tier to begin with. And so guild supremacy basically is going to determine your initial ranking. And then Clashfronts is a cross-server mode that matches guilds from servers within a specific group in competition, and it will be just within your district. Now, participation requirements: your guild must be level 2 or higher. If you're in an active guild, this should be no issue, and you must join a guild before the first round's deployment stage ends. This is important. For example, if you're joining a guild midweek, during Clashfronts, it is not going to give you the rewards. You need to join before the first round of deployment is going to end. So basically at the beginning of the week if you want to join. Yeah, the rules or tier rules. Clashfronts tiers from lowest to highest. Novice is lowest, exalted is highest. The starting tiers, top 16 guilds and guild supremacy, like we said, are going to start in the elite tier, which is kind of around the middle. And all other guilds are going to start in the adept tier, 1 tier below elite. The promotion rule below legendary: in each game the top 2 guilds will be promoted to the higher tier and the other 2 will stay in their current tier. So there is no demotion below legendary rank. At legendary, the top 4 guilds in the rankings are going to be exalted guilds and the rest of them will remain as the legendary guilds. Oh wow, okay, so there's no demotion even in the legendary tier, it seems like. Special fill-up rule: if the number of guilds in the elite tier or higher isn't a multiple of 4, the highest ranking guilds from the next lower tier will be promoted to fill the gap. And this is important because it basically is going to eliminate bots from these game modes, I think, because if they always are making it a multiple of 4, then basically the higher tiers will never have bots in them, which is really smart. I like that. Game process: each round has 3 stages. Deployment, preparation, battle. Now this is why the additional stages of preparation, basically you deploy and then it becomes locked in and you can then you can check Clashfronts grid and see where all the enemies and you place your troops, and then the battle will happen. Deployment: during this stage you can deploy your teams of heroes to any battlefield adjacent to your guild's base camp or one you've already occupied. When the preparation stage ends, the deployment details of all 4 guilds are revealed. Yeah, this is cool. No further deployment can be made and all players must wait for the battle to start. I like this because before what happened is preparation and battle happened at the same time, and then you didn't actually get a clear idea of how many members were basically placed on the various grids and how strong their teams were. So I think that's good. Once the stage starts, all deployed teams will engage in the following types of battle. This is a really big change. So Vanguard Skirmish we had before. You appoint a Vanguard and you put it on the bases, and then the Vanguards are going to fight and gain bonus points for the winner. Melee is going to be the regular thing that we had, basically all the teams fighting against each other. And then combat trial. This is a new thing and this is really smart and it makes sense. Basically, if for example you occupy a grid which is not actually contested, like a free occupation, then you're going to engage in the combat trial. basically like mini boss or type battles, and you can get points off of that as well, or at least get some participation, because the issue was before, and I hope that issue is resolved, that the people who didn't get an opportunity to attack ended up not walking away with any of the rewards from the event, because like if your guild was too strong, you would just, one or two members would destroy the entire enemy and then no one else can attack. Anyway, at the end of a round, guilds are ranked based on their total points. If 2 or more guilds have the same points, it will be ranked according to the total damage they took, determined based on cumulative endurance loss and the number of defeated heroes. Guilds that took less damage will be ranked higher. So your points will be affected, basically your occupation points in terms of ranking. Previously, we didn't have that. It was just kind of random, the ranking, and so occupation points are a smarter way of doing it. And then also the damage taken, if at the same level of, I guess, same level of total points. Okay, Vanguard Skirmish. The guild leader or vice leader may appoint vanguards and send vanguards teams to Vanguard Skirmish. Vanguards are allowed to deploy 2 extra teams. Basically, they can set up to 5 formations. All other players can set up to 3 formations. So the vanguards should be your strongest members who have a wide, like, array of options for PvP, and they can put together 5 strong teams. All Vanguard teams from the participating guilds face off in 1v1 round robin matches. The winning team earns a set number of points, while the losing team earns points based on the endurance lost by their opponent's team during the battle. So the difference now is we have endurance, 100 endurance, and as you take more damage, or as time goes on in the different fights you fight in, you reduce your endurance. That reduces the effectiveness of your heroes, and eventually your endurance is going to be depleted, and that team is going to be wiped out and not able to do anything. All teams in Vanguard Skirmish will also take part in melee phase with their combat stats reset at the start of the phase. So the Vanguards, basically, there's no loss of putting someone on Vanguard Skirmish, because they will also be reset and be attacking in the melee phase as well. So for the melee phase, in the melee phase, teams from each participating guild fight in descending order of their power. This is different. Before it was random. Honestly, I don't know exactly how this is going to change much, but it is probably going to give the whale guilds more of an edge, because like the strongest members are probably going to wipe out like they can wipe out the strongest enemy teams, and then your weaker players can wipe out the even weaker enemy teams, so you are kind of always fighting at an advantage. If all remaining teams belong to the same guild, that guild occupies the battlefield and earns points accordingly. Combat trial. Teams that do not engage in combat during melee phase will participate in combat trials. This was very needed. Teams start combat trials in descending order of their power, with each floor cleared granting a small number of points, and there is a cap on the total points that can be earned. Okay, there will be a cap. All battlefields follow the same difficulty and point rules in combat trials. Okay, so it doesn't matter even if, for example, you're occupying the center location of 250 occupation points, the difficulty and point rules of combat trials will be the same on all of the different battlefields. Endurance. In Clashfronts, every team will start with 100 endurance, which can drop down to 0. A team's endurance drops after each victory. The shorter the battle duration and the fewer heroes defeated, the less endurance lost. So, yeah, I mean, this means, of course, you need to put together a good team. However, you don't want to have a really stall-heavy team. If you have a really stallish team, like Scarlita stall, and you're not killing enemies until like 20 seconds or later into the match, this is going to deplete your endurance more quickly than if you have a more nuking comp that is going to finish off the enemies within like 10 seconds. But you just do not want your heroes to be defeated, and you don't want the battle to go on for too long. That is the key thing. It doesn't seem like health is, they don't say anything about losing health. Previously, that didn't reduce your stamina, or basically it caused you to be less effective, but here it doesn't say anything. If a team loses a battle, its endurance drops to 0. Endurance impacts a team's combat stats. The lower the endurance, the more the team's stats are weakened in battle. In combat trials, each battle costs extra endurance. Yep, treasure hamster. Now, this is another interesting thing, a new thing. During each round's deployment stage, a treasure hamster may appear on the battlefield and start searching for treasure. 1 round later, a chest will be dug up containing a large amount of points in that battlefield. The guild that controls the battlefield with the chest will earn a large amount of points. So this is more exciting, and now people are going to be like, let's all go after the treasure hamster. However, while everyone's attacking over there, you can just suddenly acquire all of the other grids, especially if you're a weaker player. If you're the strongest guild, you just attack whatever you want and you go for that hamster. But for other people, the strategic decision is let everyone else go for the hamster, and I'm going to acquire the other battlefields more easily. But I think that's cool that they're adding some things to mix things up and have some more strategy layers. I like that, and hopefully they do more like that. The guild that controls the battlefield will earn a large number of points. The chest remains on the battlefield for 2 rounds. Oh, wow. Clashfronts offers the following rewards: deployment reward, settlement reward, and event reward. We're going to be getting a lot of guild coins from this event. Deployment reward: after deploying your teams each round, you can claim this reward manually. The more battlefields your guild occupies, the greater the reward. This reward is only available during the round's deployment stage. It cannot be claimed once the stage ends. Okay, so you have to deploy and then claim right after that. And the settlement reward: after the final round of a game, you will receive this reward based on your guild's ranking and tier. And this is the final round of a game. We're going to have 4 games in total, and they're each going to last 1 week. So tier promotions are determined once these rewards are handed out. If you participated in at least 2 rounds of a game, you will, and there are 5 rounds of total, I believe, you will still receive the rewards even if you leave the guild before the final round ends. Okay, that is interesting. So like, even if you leave or maybe are kicked out of the guild, if you have participated in at least 2 rounds, you will receive the ending rewards even if you leave the guild before the final round. Event reward: after all games in the current Clashfronts event end, you will receive this reward based on the highest tier your guild reached. If you join multiple guilds during the event, you will receive rewards based on the highest tier reached among those guilds. So there's no battle like Hamster right now. I think probably the Hamster will appear in later rounds where, for example, people are able to make it towards the center locations. But yeah, so as for the guild rewards, there's going to be basic deployment rewards of 550, wow, 550 guild medals every time you deploy, and they're going to be 5 deployment phases per week. So this is really encouraging people for deploying, okay? And then there's also going to be these additional rewards. These are going to be, if for example, we make it to the legendary tier, then your settlement rewards after the end of the game are going to be 3,000 for top 1, 2,900 for top 2, and and basic deployment rewards increase at the higher levels, and extra deployment rewards, these are if you occupy multiple guilds. But these are only Twilight Essences. These are for more of the competitive guilds. But really, you're going to get guild medals, basic deployment rewards. You're going to gain the settlement rewards. You're going to gain the tier rewards at the end of the event, which 10 stellar crystals is nice, but for the whole 1 month, I feel like it's not actually that much. But I would like it to be higher. But you're going to get a lot of guild medals. Yeah, because, and you really want to make it to the higher tiers quickly. Because look at this, the basic deployment rewards are going to change. If you're in Elite, it will be 600 for each deployment phase, and Legendary is 700. And that is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that you are going to gain this amount every time you deploy, and you have 5 deployments per game. In total, that's 20 deployments. So if you were, for example, even in Elite, 20 deployments times 6, that's 12,000, right? 12,000 guild medals you would get just from deploying actively for the whole event. And then, of course, you will gain the other things like the settlement rewards, depending on your rank, which can be another 2,000 per game, up to 8,000 in total. Even at like an elite tier, right? Even at like, and if you're the top, then you can get probably up to over 30,000 guild medals from this event, which is a whole copy of a Celestial Hypogean. So I do like the guild medal thing. They have increased the rewards from that. However, I would like the stellar crystals to be bumped up at the end of the event. It's a whole 1 month long event. It's one of the biggest events, PvP events of this game. And so 10 stellar crystals for the top rank, I feel like it should be higher. And for everyone, even elite, because even elite right now, I think it's 10, yeah. So from Elite Plus, you're all going to get 10. And then I don't know what this thing is. Is this like this must be a trophy or something to put on the board. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about Clashfronts in the comment section down below. Do you like these changes? Do you agree with them? Overall, I'm a fan of them. The only thing I would like is more stellar crystals at the end of the event. I think the guild medals has been generously increased. I do like that and appreciate that. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you guys are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. We're on the road for 20,000 subscribers. Let's hit it before the end of the season. And turn on notifications, because then you'll be notified when we upload a video. You guys can also join my Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.